Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. I have some stuff that might be interesting for you, kind of helping you on your healing journey or through your process of trying to figure out what went wrong. I have started doing a lot of shorts and I start analyzing the types of topics that viewers are liking. And it's not necessarily for a marketing technique, but to understand where the needs are. And a lot of the healing ones don't get viewed or seen as much. They don't get liked as much. They do get their fair share, but it's very disproportionate on what is being viewed. So some of it is search engine stuff and search engine optimization, but it's important to note that the healing is not the focus. And that's what I want for you guys to heal. So we do have to go through this process of figuring, do we leave? Do we stay? Do we go back? What went wrong? Get some knowledge. So when you move forward into a new relationship that you're healthy and you treat things the right, because we do our reactive abuse, that we do things the right way. So we can hopefully have a relationship that's worth holding on to. The topics that I've seen are, pregnancy. I did kind of like one where I was pregnant and the guy's not helping me out. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. So those are red flags based on how much they help you, how giving they are. A lot of times they have certain triggers or certain, they have that black and white thinking. So they'll switch from all good to all bad. Now, you know, it's hard that all of a sudden now that you have a baby or one that's on the way, it changes their life. And that's how they look at it. Some of them want it for the adoration or the attention of, oh, congratulations, you're having a baby, but it's going to be gorgeous just like you, things like that. But babies are a lot of work. And I've known narcissistic people. One was golfing. It didn't seem like a big deal that he wasn't there. Mine had a beeper. This is back in the day. So I could alert him. We didn't live together. We broke up. Like right, we just broke up and got back together. But he didn't care enough to have that beeper on. I have no idea if he was on a date. I don't know. But he still, you would think, even if he was on a date, a first priority would be the birth of his child. So he just turned it off, inconvenience. I've seen other people, how, the person had to take a shower and they had to do this and that. And sometimes babies take a long time to come out. Mine was 5 days because I wasn't dilating. She was coming out the wrong way. First thing out was her hand. Like her hand busted out. I thought her head exploded, but broke my tailbone, all that. But other people have babies in like 20 minutes. So you never know how much time you have to waste. And the healing is what I hope you guys get to. There are those stages of grief that we have to go through. You're going to have your ups and downs, and why do we ruminate? Why do we think about them? We are used to so much brain activity of trying to make things right or walking on eggshells and projecting what they're going to want or say, or, how do I handle this? Do I call them out that they're, an hour and a half late, or do I let it go? Or how should I say it? And our brains are in overload during these relationships. So after we break things off with them or we get discarded, our brain's used to that almost. And we have to retrain it. We do have to retrain it. Don't get stuck in the cycle of despair. It's necessary to go through it. But I just thought it was really interesting. The other one that was really a very popular one, the popular ones are based on communication. And narcissists have terrible communication. We're all on here trying to figure out, do we do something wrong? Was it their fault? Why do we feel guilty? And we're rehashing everything. And then we were trying to figure out, like, what's in their mind? What's in their mind? Or did they ever care about me? And, sometimes it hurts when we give so much of ourselves and we feel used sometimes or fooled. And just know it's not your fault. It's kind of like the psychology of people is fascinating. And they do all those studies on different music that they play, different tempos, different temperatures. Sometimes they'll make it cooler so you shop quicker, because then you just want to get out there, get out of the store, so you're impulse buying more. All the studies that they do, the end caps, to where it seems like it's more of a popular or discounted item if it's on the end, so we're more likely to grab it, and it's just probably a higher profit for them. So we're manipulated that way too. You know, do you leave the grocery store and you're like, dang it, I bought that ketchup instead of the other, man, I was fooled. It's psychology trick, so that's not your fault. You know, was it your fault you got cold and shopped faster? You know, but knowing things, you know, if you know that the eye level things are usually more expensive and the high and low are cheaper, we can start to see some red flags, or how not to get fooled. It's not your fault that you were a victim of psychological manipulation. You know, sometimes it's on purpose, sometimes just like a store, sometimes they'll purposely do it, sometimes they'll do it because they don't have enough money to pay the heat to keep it nice and warm, or the owner just likes it colder. Some people just like it colder. I don't. I would be shopping really quick, but psychology is every little thing that we say can be turned around, can be misinterpreted. Some of it we say off the cuff. We're just so used to saying, I'm fine. I just saw this video on, what was it? I don't know all their names, but I believe it was a drag queen asking about RuPaul not liking them on Instagram or something like that. And she said they had her hooked up to a lie detector test, and so they could tell when she was lying. And they asked, how does it make you feel now that you know this person didn't follow you? And she's like, no, it's good, it's good. And they could tell she was lying. And sometimes we say things like that, like I don't think she was heartbroken over it, but there's something that goes off in our brains. It affects us. It affects us. And, you know, it was a lie to cover up her feelings. How deep those feelings were probably not too much, but if you get an overload of those things, it starts to hurt you, because you can handle one person not liking you, two people. But if the whole world was against you, you're going to be paranoid. It's overwhelming. There's a balance in life, and people misunderstand things, which causes a lot of frustration, because tone of voice, facial expressions, attention span makes a difference. I have another viewer who, according to his story, he was kind of like kind of drifting off in thought and kind of looking down at the bushes when the friend was talking or something, and that set off like this whole discard over time, that they weren't paying, he wasn't paying attention to her, and it kind of hurt her feelings. And then dirty glares at each other. And I'm not saying this person has ADHD, but our attention spans, due to mental illness, due to stress, due to lack of sleep, sometimes poor nutrition, can cause us to seem aloof to other people, and it affects them. This COVID thing, is they're starting to say that it's affecting that kind of stuff too. It's whether it's stress related, or maybe something more is going on. Maybe it cuts down on the blood flow. There's like blood clots going on now, and we're in this society that doesn't know how to get along. We don't know how to communicate the right way. And I just thought it was really interesting that we're trying to figure out how to communicate. And the narcissist is always going to come back with what makes them comfortable. just like, and I don't know if I'm using the right term because it's just a face shot. So I don't know that, but if they were transgender or bisexual, all that stuff, but we'll call her she because that's how they refer to her. So she felt something. It wasn't the most pleasant and said, no, it's good. I think she said, great. It's great. It's great. It's great. Like, don't worry about it. And we covered things up. Like, she didn't mean those words. It's like the opposite of what they say. So sometimes we see these patterns in our narcissists where they're saying the opposite of what they feel. And then we start believing that everything is the opposite and we don't know what to pick from because it's like reverse thinking. And we're like, we just want it straightforward. It's okay, whatever it is, you know, if you're sad, I'll comfort you. If it's not a big deal, I know how to handle it. We'll just move on with the day. But with all those little lies, you know, we don't know what to trust. We don't know how to act. You know, if that person meant, no, I'm good. You're not going to like, oh, you know, let me give you a hug. Narcissists, this is something interesting too. I'm not saying I'm a narcissist because I don't think I am. I've gone through 4 psychological evaluations, but one thing with me is this is a trigger for me. It just is. I get hurt a lot. I'm a burn victim, had broken bones so many different times and stitches and surgeries, and I'm a mess, but very clumsy too. And those were not narc injuries put upon me, like physical abuse. It's just me. I'm just clumsy, but I can get hurt really bad, broken bones, whatever, and I deal with it. But if you look at me like, oh, that hurts, I'll start crying. It's weird. It's kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm going to take the sympathy because I could use it right now. But narcissists, you know, they come across as strong. And as soon as they see that little bit of empathy, they'll take it for what it's worth. And, you know, the narcissist, on the other hand, I was strong inside when I got hurt. Now, physical and emotional is different. It is different. I don't really struggle with physical pain when I get hurt. I struggle with how people do me wrong. You know, it just feels unjustified. And that hurts. That cuts like a knife. Especially when we put our trust in someone, they break it. We try to rebuild it. They break it again. It's a never ending cycle. And we're trying to figure out what we're doing wrong because we've lost ourselves during this process and we don't know how it happened because we set boundaries, they're broken. So we either leave everything that we thought we wanted because of the way the narcissist portrays themselves and that love bombing stage. We know it's possible. The actions are possible, but the love and empathy is not there. It'll never come natural. It will never come natural for them. They think a different way. There is that Chinese proverb. How does it go? Be careful of your thoughts because your thoughts become your words become your actions, and your actions become your destiny. And be careful about your words become your actions. Just like, you know, if they say, you know, oh, you know, I don't even know how to word it, but basically shut up or I'm going to punch you, or I'd slap your face if you don't, whatever. That's a warning sign because eventually they could break. If they're able to say it, they're able to think it. If they're able to think it, it's possible they can do it. I don't talk that way. I don't talk that way. I'll go cry. I'll do something different. But healing is what I want you to take from this. Healing is important. Even if, not that you should get back with a narcissist, but if you go back to them broken, it's easier for them to break and break and break and break. Don't go back with them. But you guys are going to do what you're going to do. And I hope you don't. But if you do, be whole in yourself so you can stick to those boundaries. But be aware that when you stick to those boundaries, a discard's going to happen. So why go back to it? You can think you're strong enough and you can hold your ground, but the narcissist is going to leave, or they're going to make your life a living hell. So it is time to heal. And I have the stages of grief video that can kind of show you what to expect. You're going to go through ups and downs. It gets better, but we have to help ourselves get better. You know, this is kind of like, in a sense, taking yourself to the doctor. What is wrong? What can I do to make myself feel better? A lot of it is just keep your brain busy, so you don't ruminate so much, and that'll kind of untrain yourself to think about your narcissist all the time. You're going to have crossing thoughts. You're going to be reading a book and thinking about them at the same time, watching a movie, thinking about them. So usually if you can get some physical activity in with it too, that's good, especially outside. Especially outside. The sunlight does you good, the breeze, and reconnect with some people, meet new people, and just be aware of red flags. But, you know, there's a lot of good people out there, and humans need connection. That's why the narcissist is so miserable. They're trying to take something. It's almost like they're trying to take something for nourishment, and the nourishment is love. So they're taking and taking and taking, but it's like eating plastic. They're going to get nothing from it. They're going to be full, but they're going to be empty inside, like unhealthy. So whether we give them more and more love, it's like plastic to them. It doesn't nourish them. It might fill them up, but they're still unhealthy. And they're just going to spew toxins at us. And it's a defense mechanism on their part. They've learned how to manipulate. So some of it is manipulating to get things. Others is manipulating to protect themselves. So no matter what they're doing, they're manipulating. And it gets confusing because sometimes it is enjoyable around them. And they can go through calm spurts. That's where that cycle comes in. But once they get set into that calm part for too long, they need the chaos. They need the thrill of the chase, so they'll push you away. They need that adrenaline rush, because when they're chaotic, it soothes their brain. It soothes them to be a jerk. So when they're being nice, they're uncomfortable. And, you know, there's no fixing it. You know, they can be less crummy to us, but they're not going to be more loving. You know, like we connect with people because we care about them. And we trust that they care back. But you can see these patterns from all these people all across YouTube sharing their stories. The narcissist doesn't love back. And when they do, they hurt you. They hurt you when they show love. Not all the time, but you know, I'm sorry, but if you weren't such a jerk, it's like, so they just called you a jerk. Or I'm sorry, but if you didn't give me such a hard time, where they blame shift. So it's sweet. They apologize. They came to me. I didn't even have to ask, but they cut you down at the same time. They blame shifted at the same time. And we're finding comfort in abuse. We're finding comfort in abuse if you think about that last scenario, because it's half-assed. And you deserve better. So I just thought it was interesting, and topic requests are welcome. Keep healing, and I'll help you along the way.